Hello everyone, good afternoon. This is the last class and also the presentation for our series course. We started this class from 7th of September till today. It's almost 2 months. I would like to thank the Chief Director of the BNB and also the professor for the photo shooting. They gave us a lot of information and also shared their experiences with us. Today, we invited all the students to do the presentation for everyone. Today, we will start from Spanish group for their presentation and follow by a recess. And later, we shall start the presentation from the English group. We have received some presentations that you uploaded to the cloud. So to avoid some students that would like to share their presentation at their end, so we will still follow the order I provided. If the student is not online, we will skip him or her first. So with no further ado, let's start the presentation. Later, we will also invite our interpreters to translate and also call out your name. So with no further ado, let's start from number 1, student from Guatemala. For your further information, today we have invited Lecturer Huang and also Lecturer Chu for our judge. Later, they will give you some experiences and also give you some comment for your presentation. So let's start our presentation. Let's invite student from Guatemala. Andra, are you online right now? Andra from Guatemala. No, she's not online. So let's skip her until the second one, Fidela. Also from Guatemala. Let's wait for her for a few minutes. She's online. Please give us a few minutes. I would like to thank everyone for coming today. Good afternoon. My name is Ferreira. I would like to thank Integra. I would also like to thank Taiwan ICDF to host this wonderful hospitality class for us. So I would like to start my presentation. Excuse me, we have some technical issue here. Excuse me, we have some technical issue here.
No problem.
I would like to use this music as the opening for my presentation. The composer is from Guatemala. He's also very famous. I would like to introduce you to the district, which is Guatemala. It's located in central of the America. It's also the place I grew up. In my hometown, we have a very small airport. In Guatemala, we have 3 airports. One of them located in my hometown was Pete. So welcome to Sela. This is a very diverse place, which means that we have a lot of different cultures here. We have 24 different dialects here. The official language is, of course, Spanish. However, we also use other dialects from Maya time. So Shela means the place that expose in different kinds of thinkings. As you can see, this is where I live. If you like nature or if you like volcano, you can see a lot of natural resource here. We have 33 volcanoes here. I can see at least at least 2 volcanoes from my window. So for different seasons, I can see outside through my window and I can see wonderful sceneries and wonderful, beautiful scenes from volcanoes in different seasons. So if I created a B&B my guests can see a lot of different sceneries. So this is a practice I did for the classes. This is the practice for the photo shooting. I know I need to improve, but however, when I was preparing the room, I kind of noticed that I need to focus on detail. For example, you can see the towels. I rolled them and put it on the bed, and also some welcome gifts, some sheets and blanket. We also made it flat. So these are small details that can present some special features from the B&B. So all those details are also inclusive in our services when we host a guest. In my city, we can attend a lot of tourist events, for example, culture or religion, or even hiking, or even language exchange. We have a lot of different events here. So this is next to our Central Park. You can see there is a big church. So this is also a night view for our Central Park. This is a very famous theater. So this is inside of the theater. So we can really have different kinds of cultural events here. We can also have some theater or concert and some events, etc. So you can not only just see the local culture, you can also see some international events, for example, or for performance from abroad. And of course, if you want to know my city more, I really welcome you to come here because we have a lot of different sightseeing and also museums, park. For example, here, this is a chocolate tourism site. Guatemala is famous for coffee and also cocoa beans. And of course, you can also arrive in other tour sites in 1 hour. For example, this is a small lake inside a volcano and also some special church. And I really hope like one day you can come to my city and also share with us your stories. We also have some handmade event activities which you can join. We also have some elder generation. They still make potteries or artifacts by their hand. And so we also hope like our tourism industry can be sustainable and also to rejuvenate our tourism industry and so to include all the industries that in our tourism. We do not just want to benefit one stores. We want to benefit for all culture and all communities. So I hope we can include all those people. For example, this is a person who cannot speak Spanish. He can only speak the dialect. So we will have a special interpreter to interpret his words and also help him to host different guests from abroad. And this is also another activity. So this is cloth weaving. activities. We will use this machine made from woods, and we also use different strings to make the beautiful class. So this is malimba, which is an instrument from Guatemala. Also here, and the music actually playing in presentation as a background right now, it's the song of the moon. And you can see some beautiful sceneries here. So I would really like to invite everyone to come to here, and then you can have different experiences, no matter hiking or cultural events. And we also have some wonderful food. We have a lot of wonderful cuisines that we can share to everyone. Here, this is Guatemala Spices event. It's a little bit spicy. We create these wonderful cuisines from different kinds of chilies. So this is our special dish from Guatemala. This is beverage and coffee. And also bread, handmade bread. So I really hope that you can come here. And also like to thank Intercap and also ICDF from Taiwan and also Anita. So I really hope that we can see all of you in Guatemala. Thank you very much. So let's thank Fidelia for her sharings. We've seen a lot of beautiful sceneries, and I hope like after the COVID, maybe we can really go to Guatemala. So let's invite the two instructors give us some words. Fidelia, good afternoon. I've just seen the presentation. We found out that no matter the nature resources or cultural resources, they are all very abundant. However, I would like to raise a question. I saw the picture of the room because it's not a very big room. However, we have view a little bit. Is that your own home or you have already designed it or renovated as a B&B? Can you give us the answer? Oh, this is actually a room that I designed for the homework for ICDF. However, I hope that in the future I can really renovate and also run the place as a B&B. So after I finish this hospitality course, I really hope that I can run the business. Okay, I understand. So the room is actually a homework for this course. We just view your presentation. I understand that you have a lot of resources and you cooperate with the local resources and appreciate of that. So this is definitely a place that's suitable for B&B and also suitable for other people to go to have a vacation. The room, I know it's pretty small. However, I think the room is also very elegant. So I know that you haven't have your B&B yet, but you have a wonderful place and also you have a wonderful concept. So I think that in the future that you can really cooperate with the natural resources. And in the future, if you really want to run the B&B in the future, you really need to think what is your position and what's your feature of your B&B and how you're going to promote your B&B. So if it's possible, I really hope that in the future you can consider those points I just point out. So do you understand that you know you have natural resources? However, what kind of B&B you want to run, what kind of a special feature, what kind of cuisine, what kind of style you want to provide to your guests. So I think that you need to take that in count. So let's invite lecture two. I've seen your presentation, Fidela, your presentation. It really opens my eyes. I haven't had a chance to go to Guatemala yet, so I didn't have a chance to get to know Guatemala. But you really put a lot of beautiful sceneries in the presentation. You have cocoa, you have volcano, and also lake, and also have some cuisines. And surrounded by that area has a lot of cultural ruins, which is wonderful. However, you haven't started running your B&B. After you start to run your B&B, you might want to think and also consider that you have so many resources. You have to be selective. You have to select some as your specialties for your B&B. Your presentation is more like a travel agency. It's as if it's a package tour. So you have so many resources. How are you going to combine them with your B&B? It's very important. And you also have to think about your target clients and your position in the market. You have to think about that. Are you going to target those people who really like cultural event, who are more elderly, or you target people who like natural resources and outdoor activity? So maybe they are younger. So your position in the market will be different. So your product has to be customized according to the position in your market. And also your style of your B&B and also the ambience that you give into people also have to be adjusted by the position of the market. So we really like to see that B&B cooperate with the local resources. And we hope that the B&B can serve as a window and to raise the overall community economics. So your natural resources, for example, your agenda or your schedule, for example, you can pick some sceneries which is closest to you. I know you mentioned that there is a scenery that you have to drive for 1 or 2 hours to arrive. I've seen that maybe you should pick some places that's close to your B&B. You can walk in 10 minutes or even drive for 10 minutes. So that would be more beneficial for your communities and that will rejuvenate the community. You can also help those cocoa farmers. You don't drive your customer to the coffee farmer just to take the pictures. Maybe you can also help them economically, or maybe you can have some DIY courses how to make cocoa to chocolate, etc. Or maybe you can also introduce them how to make coffee. So that could really add some flavor to your tour. So you can really add some experiences tour. So for experiences tour, it's really trendy right now. I think that's what's different from hotel to B&B, because hotel, they can work with agency to have a lot of package tourism. However, B&B just located in the cultural center, and you have the local features, the things you eat and the things you use, it's tightly connected to the local. So living there is also wonderful experiences. For the surroundings, you have become a window to introduce the local features to the guests. So this is my recommendation. So I hope that once you really start to run your B&B, you can emphasize those key points. So I know that you have a lot of tourist resources, and are also very jealous that you have so much wonderful natural resources. However, Airbnb is relatively really small. You can have the maximum probably 10 rooms, and that's a lot. Or maybe you can only have 5 rooms. We cannot run the business for the whole market. We have to find our target clients, and we have to have our special own position in the market. So other clients might not be our clients. So we really have to target on our target clients. So you have to be very focused. So that's the thing I think you are missing there in your presentation, and you need to emphasize that in the future. Fidelia, are you a musician or what's your job? No, I'm not a musician. I merely just like to share special and also famous songs from Guatemala. So, Fidelia, are you interested in music, or do you have specialties in music? I am a chef. So I've seen your pictures. From your window, you can see a lot of volcanoes, which is very beautiful. So, so you can actually position your B&B as a B&B for sceneries. And second, you're a chef, so you can also cooperate with cuisines. So your position, you can maybe position yourself as a scenery and as a B&B for cuisines. And you can also combine with the local resources. For example, you can cooperate the local ingredients, so you can become B&B for cuisine and for scenery. We wouldn't ask too much, but you have to position yourself first. As you as a chef, you can combine with the local ingredients, and you can make breakfast, or you can make like a breakfast or dinner, and you can charge more. So you can start from this position. So those are my comments. Thank you for all your comments. It feels like after the classes, Fidelia can start to run her own B&B. No matter you want to combine with the scenery or combine with the cuisine, and you can attract guests from that. Due to time constraint, let's move on to the next presenter, the third presenter, also from Guatemala. Jose, are you online? Oh, it seems like Jose is not online, and let's move on to Jose. Jose seems like he's also not online. So let's move on to the next. So next one's Maria. Maria, can you please start your presentation? So let's start our presentation. Good afternoon, everyone. Excuse me, we have some technical issue here, so please wait patiently. I would like to ask everyone to wait patiently. Excuse me, we have some technical issue here. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I would also like to share with you my presentation for the final presentation for this class, and also share with you where I live. It's called Guatenango. So in the future, I really hope that I can run my B&B in this place. I've been thinking about running my own B&B for a very long time. So after this class, I hope that I can adopt all the knowledge that I've learned here and really run my own B&B. Guatenango is in Guatemala, and it's a relatively bigger county. We have approximately 1 million residents here. As like Fidelia shared before, we have multicultural here. We also have a lot of Maya cultures in my place. So where I live, we have 9 different Mayan dialects or Mayan language. Within this county, you can also divide it into 32 districts. So in Guatenango, it's actually a Mayan name, which means a place located within different districts. We have a lot of different culture here, and we have different dances. We also have some indigenous dances culture. As you can see, we have a lot of natural resources here. Also, we have some cultural events. We have so many different cultures, so we have a lot of festivals and ceremonies. So if I want to run my B&B in the future, I actually have 4 locations that I can choose. First is in the center of my city, because in the center of the city, we have a lot of history materials that I can introduce to my guests. As you can see, we have a central park. And you can do some cultural event there in the culture center. We can also see a lot of signs for Spanish colonial time We can also share with them the stories behind. I cannot do it by myself, so I can also work with tourist guide. So they can introduce the culture of this place and also the history. So cuisine and also wonderful food is also another feature. We can also cooperate with the local restaurant. You can see on the right upper corner, this dish is cocoa. It's a special delicious dishes here. So we use a lot of spices and also use chicken, and we cooperate with a lot of spices and cook together, and then you can mix it with rice. I will also have cornstarch. And I also hope that I can support the small restaurants near cultural center and also local restaurants. And we can also let our guests to taste the really delicious food in Guatemala. On the right bottom side, you can see some weaveries, and that's a small store. You can also check that we have so many different colors for the cloth. And we can also have some cooking experiences that provide to our guests. So I think what's important is that to support the local community and also let our guests to understand our culture and our different kind of culture compared to other countries. For example, the sweets, we use flowers and use jam to make these wonderful sweets. So another DIY event I have been considering, excuse me, not DIY, I means that we can actually take our guests and to shop for some souvenirs from the local stores. For example, our cloth and the bag made from our cloth or small uh, pockets and also keychains. And another place I can have my B&B is a Sakuleu. So you can see and also check that we have some cultural ruins and also get to know some culture. So after the post-classical time, Sakuleu was very prosperous. So we have a lot of stories that we can share with our guests. So in 1502, we were occupied by Spanish people, so the local culture has slowly died. But you can see we have some historic sites that were preserved. So now it's a really important historic site. We also hope that we can support the local economies. As you can see from the picture, some local people are doing some traditional ceremonies. So we can also take our guests to witness the local or spiritual ceremonies that also cooperate with indigenous culture. We have some handcrafts in locals, and they also have small stores there, and we also have museums. So that's also the places that the guests can go. But what's very important is to support the local economy. So all those photos are shot by myself in 2015. So the third location is Chankla. It's a very small town. It's probably 20 minutes of drive from the city center. Here you can really get in touch with DIY culture. The concept of being sustainability tourism is to support the local economy. And here we can have a small city tour. Although it's not a really big city, however, we can still stroll in the city. And we also hope that the local agents can lead our guests. And here, you can use a real leather to make the stall for horse. And we also have some copper artifacts or silver artifact. As the copper artifact and also the silver artifact is a huge culture here. So you not only can have the DIY, you can also go see how the craftsmen do the copper and silver artifact. And if you do the DIY, you can definitely make your own artifact and you can also print your name on it. So this is a fourth place, a Chabao. It's a small community. So it's 45 minutes away from Chankla, which is the city I just mentioned. Here you can see some community tour. The feature is a community tour. So the local community has been dedicated into local community tours and local community tourism recent years, and they will take the guests to see some small spots. And they also have different activities there. For example, we can take guests to see the llama. And starting from 2010, in this city, they have started to breed llama. So that place is very famous for llamas, and you can take pictures and also touch the llama. You only have to pay the ticket. So in the center, you can see that you can have wonderful hiking here. We have agent here, and then the agent can take us for a walk, maybe 45 minutes of walk. You can also pay the ticket And then you can go to see some tourist spots here. We can also see the beautiful lake, and we can also have some tours that can take the guests to see the little cottage here. The lake is a very famous tourist spot. Last but not the least, we definitely have to taste the wonderful, delicious food from the community. We eat a lot of lamb. That's why I put the dish of lamb in the photo. Or you can also drink lamb soup here. So my presentation is focused on sustainable tourism or community tourism. So I hope that we can lead our guests for a one-day tour or maybe two-day tour maximum. And I also hope that we can support the local community. So this is my presentation. Thank you very much. I would like to thank ICDF that you have shown me a lot of knowledge for hospitality. And you also have shown me that sustainable tourism is a very important concept. So I would like to thank Indicat and also Anita. Thank you very much. So let's thank Maria for her presentation. Now let's ask two instructors to give us some comment because I'm afraid that we don't have sufficient time. So if it's possible, maybe you can give us some brief comments. So no problem. I would like to thank Maria for your wonderful presentation. I remember that your homework for the photo shooting is very good and you are very talented. I've listened to your presentation and also, however, I cannot see your photos in the very last of your presentation. However, through your presentation, I fully understand what you want to express. So I would like to briefly give you some comments that from my point, that you have a lot of resources at your country, especially you have indigenous culture, you have history, you have Spanish colonial time, and you have a lot of cultures, and also you're very famous for artifact and also handicraft, and also, of course, food. However, I've noticed that you come from the aspect from thinking of as an agency. It's a tour agency. So please do not schedule your guests for one-day tour or two-day tour because you're not a travel agency. If you're going to run a B&B, you have to take the perspective as a B&B. You are a B&B, what you need to think is why the guests want to live your B&B, not hotel. Is your rooms more luxury than hotel? What you provide can make the guests give up for sign up for the tourist group and to give up living in hotel. So that's what you need to think. So you have to think, what is your niche market? So let's think about viewpoint first. The traditional sightseeing tour versus secret sites. What I want to say is that traditional scenery that everyone can go. However, secret spot is only somewhere you understand and somewhere only you know. Only by coming to your B&B, they can see those beautiful sceneries. So this is what the thing that you need to think about. Also, the history written in textbook versus local culture and local stories are told by elderly people. So those stories which told by elderly people may be different from the history from the textbook. So only the guests stay at your B&B can listen to those special stories. A third point, the big restaurant or even Michelin restaurant versus local restaurants. Why the guests want to stay at your B&B? Because you use a local ingredient, or even you use the very old recipe from your grandma, or the recipe from locals. So those are the things that you need to consider it for your B&B. We are not making the Airbnb, your B&B as a hotel or a restaurant. B&B, you have to focus on local features. For example, in Taiwan, we have radish, marinated radish. However, they all taste differently in different places. So that's a special feature because radish tastes differently. So what tastes differently in your place? Another thing, tourist guide versus local tourist. You mentioned the local tourist. There are a lot of places that they start to discover what are their tourism resources in their community. So only by staying at your B&B can they understand the local community. So the experiment tourism is very important right now. It's also very trendy right now. So please do not focus on general thing or general tourism spot. You have to examine what's your specialties in your surroundings and why people would willing to give up staying in a hotel and come to your B&B. A lot of hotels are opened in some places that have abundant resources of natural sceneries. So can you really beat them in that aspect? So you have to take account of those aspects. And maybe in your B&B, they maybe in your B&B you have a lot of small stores that surrounded your B&B. However, you've seen them. Maybe they cannot be seen by normal tourism. However, you've seen them. You know the restaurant, you know the local places, you know the local stores. So only the guests stay at your B&B will understand and will also taste those wonderful food because you're a local. So please remember to share those local values with the guests, and you have to discover those values. So I know another instructors have some comments too. So Maria, you mentioned that you have 4 places that you want to choose for running your B&B, right? I recommend that actually starting from you, from your local place. If the place you live, you have abundant history and culture and natural resources, then you should work from your place that you live. I believe that you've taken Mr. Fan's classes. So that's why you did a wonderful job for your presentation. Because if talking about sustainable tourism and combined with the local community, so I really suggest that you can take experiences from Taiwan. Um, Taiwan, actually, that we have very small community for B&Bs. So we've said that we can only provide 8 rooms maximum for B&B in Taiwan, and if you are really isolated island, you can provide maybe 15 rooms in other islands. So B&B is a really small community. So if you have a really good economic capital, maybe you can go to other places. However, I really think that you should focus on your on the place you live. So according to your presentation, I don't know what's your specialties, what do you do, or what's your hobby, or what can you provide? Because you mentioned for example, weavery experiment or cooking experiment or dessert experiment. So the main focus for B&B is first the hospitality. In Taiwan, a lot of B&B will provide breakfast. So some B&B in Taiwan, they may have some extra services, for example, afternoon or maybe dinner. So if you provide more, then you can charge more. So I think that you can combine with your hobbies and specialties or you're a professional. For example, weaveries, maybe you can convert your room with the local weaveries and combine with the cultural resources. And for B&B is not just for hospitality. You have to combine with the eat and the shop and transportation, tourism, and also entertainment. So for example, for the shopping, you say that you can take them to buy souvenirs, or a tour guide can take them for tourism, and also hospitality is of course your services and eat the food. Maybe you can also cook for your own cuisine, or maybe you can cooperate with your restaurant and also transportation. So transportation, that do you want guests to drive them or tourist guide can drive them? And another is entertainment. Entertainment is to combine with the local resources and local communities. So all those things you cannot learn by yourself. You cannot do so many things by yourself. You have to cooperate with other industries. That's why you have to cooperate with the local farmers. It is because, for example, in Taiwan, we focus on local livelihood, and the local, the better. So if you position yourself as a hotel, then what's special about your B&B? And then you don't have the local feature, then it's not fun anymore. So I think what's the spirit of the B&B is that you has your own B&B and you are the owner and you tell those secret spots to the guests. So please do not think too much first. Let's go back to the principle. So conceptually, you have to have the place for people to live first. So you mentioned a lot of like natural resources or tourism. So those are the things that you can cooperate with other industries, and you can even have a whole supply chain. So this for sustainability, I think that in Taiwan we have concept of rejuvenate the local resources and one day tour. So we can really cooperate with the local resources. So you have to take your concentrate back. I know you have a lot of thoughts, but you have to come back to your own resource first. So those are my comment. Thank you. So I would like to thank the two instructors and also Maria for your wonderful presentation due to time constraint. So let's move on to Nicaragua and then we can take a break. So from the presentation and so also from the comment, I know that I also noticed that people really like to share, so we really need to control the time. So the next student, please be aware of your time, okay? You only have 10 minutes. So let's move on to Nicaragua first. And after Nicaragua, then we can have our break. I actually made
I
a
cannot
film,
hear her.
and I made some film and also have some descriptions in the video clips, and the video clips have some descriptions for my presentation. Can someone please share the video clips for me? I actually have 3 video clips. Please give us a minute. We will prepare the video clips.
Espérame un ratito, ¿eh? ¿Mm?
Hola, soy Patricia Olivas de Nicaragua. Laboro en Hotel Mirador. Hotel Mirador es una empresa de origen familiar que abre sus puertas al público en el año de 1995. Fue fundada por el señor Benito Morales, reconocido empresario de Nueva Segovia, que decide invertir en el negocio de la hotelería. Se inicia con 5 habitaciones, siendo la base y característica principal del negocio la buena atención, el calor del hogar, la limpieza en las habitaciones y la excelente ubicación, que facilitaba la movilización de los clientes. Con el paso del tiempo se logra aumentar la cantidad de habitaciones y mejorar las instalaciones del hotel. En la actualidad se cuenta con 34 habitaciones. Además, bajo la administración de los hijos de Don Benito, se amplía la gama de servicios que ofrece el hotel. Por ejemplo, un salón para eventos, alimentación, amplios y seguros parqueos. La finalidad es garantizar que nuestros clientes se vayan satisfechos con cada visita y vuelvan con la seguridad de que su descanso será placentero. A raíz de la crisis sanitaria que azota al mundo desde el 2020, nuestro país se ha visto golpeado por la falta de turistas extranjeros, por lo que negocios locales como Hotel Mirador han procurado potencializar destinos que le permitan atraer más huéspedes y turistas locales. Por ello, que han enfocado su interés en las zonas rurales del norte. Un ejemplo claro de ello es en Murra, municipio eminentemente rural. Fue bendecido con lo que es considerada la cascada más alta de Nicaragua, el Salto El Rosario. Estudios han revelado que el salto mide 120 metros.
不好意思，那个是刚刚有人开扩音，所以我完全听不到 Carol 的声音。
Sí, sí, ahora lo vamos a poner. 因为刚刚他我不知道能不能够听得清楚，因为他是有那个他的影片，他就是影片在讲话，所以我也只能跟着影片。
所以那我这边听不到 Carol 翻译的话，我就没有办法翻英文的部分的话，要怎么办？
它还有2个影片，所以可以继续放。
Estudios.
不好意思，我们那个还没有下载 Teams，所以
Due to the technical issue, the interpreter cannot hear the Spanish interpreter's voice, so the English services is not available for video clips.
OK， 我们下载了。
Esa es la segunda parte.
Sí, sí, estamos. Ok, tratando de ponerlo.
Gracias. Estudios han revelado que el salto mide 120 metros. En invierno y verano mantiene su caudal. Se encuentra ubicada en la comunidad del Rosario, en la propiedad privada de don Juan Antonio Moreno. Al visitar el salto, se entra en contacto directo con la naturaleza. La vista es magnífica. Complementan la fascinación el trinar de las aves, el viaje del agua que baja y el viento recorriendo el bosque. Otro destino al que pueden asistir es el Santuario Nacional de la Virgen de la Piedra, que se ubica en el casco urbano de Dipildo, Nueva Segovia, de fácil acceso sobre carretera. La imagen de la Virgen de Guadalupe fue empotrada en la roca en 1947 por el difunto sacerdote, hoy en
好，那这边其实我们这边可以看到一个圣母玛利亚的一个
So
雕
here you
像
can，see that a statue of
它是
Saint
位于在
Maria.
Mildo，
It
它
located
就
in
是在一
Mildo.
个大自然
It's
的一个区域。
located in a natural resource
我这边
area.
就可以接触到
So
大
you
量的大
can
自然，
see and also touch a lot of
这
natural
个地方也
sceneries.
非常美丽，非常
It's
漂
very
亮。
pretty here.
那我们这边其实就可以赏
And
鸟
you can
啊，
see
可
a
能
lot of birds
呼
and
吸
also do
新
some
鲜的
bird
空气。
watch or even breathe some fresh
但其
air.
实它从 o g o d a 才几公里而
It's
已，
not
那
super far
边
from
其
the
实
city
都有
center.
公共的交通可
They also
以
have public
就是到达这
transportation
个
to
地
arrive
方。
this location.
好像影片没有继续播下去，
proceso de
可
canonización.
以。那大家就可以看到那个雕像。
Monseñor Nicolás Antonio
那
Madrigal.
其实我
Otro
们这边
destino al
都
que se
是
puede tener
主要的
acceso desde
宗
Hotel
教
Mirador
是基
es
督
el
教。
Cañón de Somoto.
The
La
main
distancia
religious
entre
here is
Bogotá
Christian.
y el Cañón de Somoto es de
那我们这边其实就
43
是在尼加
kilómetros
拉
por
瓜的
carretera. El Cañón
北
de
部。
So
Somoto,
this is
o
in the
mejor
north of
conocido por los
Nicaragua. This
lugareños
is
como
Somoto.
Namancambre,
那
está
这个也
localizado
是
a unos
在
14
Ogotá
kilómetros
这
al
个城
oeste
市
de
的
la
附
ciudad de
近。
Somoto,
This
cabecera
city is called Saad.
departamental de Madrid. Es un área protegida declarada por la Asamblea Nacional como
苏摩斗其
Monumento
实
Nacional
离
el 29 de noviembre del
我在才
2004
43
debido a su
公里。
importancia hidrológica,
So this place is
geográfica y
only
recreativa.
43 kilometers away from Bogota. Please give us a minute. I would like to let everyone know more information. We have a lot of water, natural resources, and it's also very important for our countries, for our water resources. The Airbnb here
把这些可能观光行程东大陆在我们
have incorporated
介绍之
the
中。
natural resource into the tourism.
Actividades como recorridos en bote y
那
caminatas
所以我
para
们现
observar
在
la flora
大
y
部
la
分都
fauna.
是
Al
去
visitar
接待一
cualquiera
些
de los
当
tres
地的
destinos
人。
antes
So we
mencionados,
mainly
abrimos
host
un
local
abanico de
people.
然后
posibilidades,
大家
no
那个
solamente
影
para
片可以
nosotros, también
可以
para quienes
播
laboran
音档
en
吗？还是
estos
不行？
lugares y quienes tienen
好像不
negocios
行。
en los sectores
那所以
aledaños.
说，
Y es que en eso consiste el desarrollo
我
sostenible,
就
en
是想
promover la
要感
prosperidad y
谢，就
las
是国合
oportunidades
会
I
económicas
would
para
like to
una
thank
mejor
上这个
bienestar
ICDF
social y
课，
la
to
让我们
protección del
provide
medio
so
ambiente.
many
改
wonderful
进我们
classes
自己的服
and to
务。
improve our own services.
Si puedes seguir, estoy haciendo la traducción en otro canal, por eso no puedo abrir, no te puedo hablar acá, ¿sí? 因为他一直在确认，就是我能不能够跟他，我有没有听得到？好，我这边其实就想要感谢国合
I
会，
would
让我
like to
们可
thank
以上这么多
ICDF
课，
to give
然后
us
给我
so
们这么多
wonderful
的工具，
classes
让我们可
and
以
give us so many
可能改
tools
善
to
自己的
improve
一些缺失，
ourselves.
也看到其他人
And we
怎
can
么应
also
用他们
see
的
other
可能
people's
各种资
presentation
源
that they use all
来
of their
最佳化
resources
他们的
to
一些利
maximize
益。
the
那因为
tourist
我自己认
industry.
为我是 Mirador 民宿的一
I
份子，
think I
所
am
以我真
one
的很
part of
希
the
望，
Mirador
确实就
B&B
像不
industry.
同老师所提
So
到的，
as like
我们
the
希望
different
可以
instructors
在
mentions,
不
I
同的
hope
层
that
面上都可以
in
达到
different
某一个
aspects
水
we
平，
can reach certain
然
level
后来提供给
and
我们
provide
的顾客。
the
那这
guests
边其实
services.
交通非常
The
方便，
transportation is very convenient here.
然后所以
And
还是要感
I
谢
would
国
like
合
to
会给
thank
我们这么多
ICDF
的
to
工
give
具。
us so many tools.
不，他的影片是不可以播吗？就是因为他一直很介意，就是那个影片有没有播跟有没有音档。好，那不然我们就播完
Pues queremos
好了。
crecer
Ahora vamos a
juntos
poner el video.
transformándonos en una
¿Sí?
sociedad más justa y equitativa. Pero hay que recordar que para prosperar en el presente no se deben comprometer los recursos del futuro. Gracias a ustedes por brindarnos las herramientas para que nuestros negocios sigan creciendo en un ambiente sano y amigable con la naturaleza. A título personal, agradezco a ustedes y a la Embajada de Taiwán por generar este tipo de encuentros que ayudan a aumentar los conocimientos relacionados al desarrollo autosostenible. Gracias y espero disfruten de mi presentación.
这么多的一些资讯，让我们能够去改善我们自己的经营。
Okay, so this is my presentation. Thank you, Patricia, for providing those wonderful video clips. So let's invite the two instructors to give us some comment. I would like to understand. So you are running hospital. You are running a hotel. So are you a owner or are you the staff? Because you show us the video clip. Can you please ask if she's the staff or the owner of the B&B or the hotel? Patricia is not the owner. She's just one of the staff. And she worked there for a pretty long time. So she really thinks that she's one part of the part of the community and part of the B&B. So I'm seeing your video clips. It's pretty noisy because we heard your voice. I heard the voice of the interpreter and also the voice of video clips. I know you're introducing your local resources. Oh, excuse me, we have some technical issue here. Excuse me, we have some technical issue here, sorry. Okay, so did you hear what I said? Because due to technical issue, can you please repeat again? Because I've seen that in your video clips, Patricia, the place you work and you're also the staff, the B&B have a really wonderful scenery. Then the house is also really beautiful. It's like a villa style, so it's a very wonderful B&B. However, I think that you just tell me like you work there. However, you are a part of the B&B and you have more than 30 rooms. I think that's not a B&B anymore. It's actually a hotel. So you are one of them already because you work there for so long. So I know that you enjoy working there. I only have one question. So I know that you introduce a lot of natural resources there and some tourist package, and you need to host some guests. So that's what I heard. However, I didn't hear that. Excuse me, I know that you are heavily impacted by the COVID. So you want to do some business for locals. So do you have that kind of problem that you hit by the COVID? And so that's why you want to host a local guests? Because I know that you think us a lot during the end of the presentation. So I don't know that if you have any kind of problems or question that you need our help. because the video clip is not so clear. Oh, excuse me, we have some technical issue here. So for Patricia's presentation, I think I have the same comment that you will stand from the perspective that you want to share with others, that you have a lot of natural resources. So I would like to ask that within your 100 kilometers, are you the only B&B there? If not, then everyone share the same beautiful sceneries, then why people want to stay at your hotel? So that's a question you need to keep in mind. You don't need to tell your guests and say that, oh, I have so many beautiful sceneries, you should stay at my hotel. It is very easy for the guests right now. They can find so many different Airbnbs or hotels in that location. So they start to compare the price and start to compare the room condition. So what's your niche point? So if you only let us know the scenery you have and that's your only value, actually that's past tense. That's the old way to run a hotel, especially your country. Maybe you develop the foreign guests the most. However, during the COVID time, that you don't have the international guests anymore. So you have to attract the local guests. So if you attract local guests, they can easily go to the sceneries that you just showed us. So if it's even the natural resources or cultural heritage or geological sightseeing tour, maybe they've already been there before. So what they want is more local or even deeper kind of tour spot. So in your area, what's different from the other area in your country, you have to find out. And our tourists trend right now, even if you want to invite international guests, like Miss Huang mentioned, the local the better. So please do not think that the things like or the resources that surround it, your hotel is worthless because you are used to it. So actually people want to know your surroundings. So the international guests, they also want to have a deep tour. They also want to have a very customized and deep tour because the international tourist industry has transformed from Second World War, started from 1980s, that China's rise until now, it's been 30 years. So many people has been to so many places. So a lot of tourists that they may have been to Guatemala already, they want to find something new. They want to find something different. So that's what I mentioned, the big tourist spot versus secret spot. Secret spot means a place that only you know, that you have to discover all those spots and to try to combine with your B&B. If you want to go to those secret spots, then they have to come to your B&B and hotel. Or even you want to have you want to regionalize your local community, you have to hire maybe local guides to help you, hire local drivers to help you, hire local people so you can really contribute for local people, or maybe artifacts and maybe agricultural goods. So that's the same concept. You have to have contribution to the local community. Do not just sell something that they can easily get from everywhere. So that will lose your value and so lose your point. Then you cannot help the local business. So right now in Taiwan, experiment tourist is very trendy right now. And there's also another kind of tourist. It's actually absolutely doing nothing kind of style. that they just want to stay in a room and just want to take a long walk near the B&B. So do not compare the huge scale and small scale and the position, because you won't have your position. So does Patricia has any comments or inquiries? Otherwise, we should have 5 minutes break. I would like to explain a little bit. We have another 7 hotel site near my hotel. However, the way we host our guests, and also we will provide some local breakfasts and some local bread and coffee. So if I go to other hotel, I wouldn't get this kind of services. And Nicaragua is not only famous for the volcanoes, we also have some countryside which are also very beautiful. As an instructor mentioned before, that you can walk in our community, you can see a lot in old history building, and our occupation rate for the rooms is 95%, which is very high. So we also survived the COVID time, and we would like to thank instructors for their comments, and also thank Taiwanese government and also ICDF for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much. So let's move on to 5 minutes break.
哦，好，那我们可能先让他讲几句话，然后再播这个影片好了。对，等我一下哦。Bueno, sí, Mariette, puedes empezar con tu presentación y después me avisas cuando poner el video, ¿sí? 好，大家好，我
Good
是来自
afternoon, everyone. I'm from Nicaragua.
那这边其实也是
Here
珍珠之城，
is a city
也
of
是
the
一个
pearl,
以咖啡闻名的
also
一个
very
国
famous
家。
for
所以现在
coffee.
我们现在可以播放影
So
片了。
let's play the video clip.
OK。
¿Quieres vivir una maravillosa experiencia? Visita Nicaragua, tierra de lagos, volcanes y montañas. Entre los muchos destinos que Nicaragua te ofrece, encuentras Matagalpa, tierra llena de historias, montañas, reservas naturales, deliciosa gastronomía, su inigualable café, artesanía, compartir con la calidez de su gente. Cuna de nuestro poeta universal Rubén Darío. Su casa natal fue convertida en museo. Bailes y ferias tradicionales que se destacan en todos los meses del año. Al llegar a la perla del Septentrión, como se le conoce a Matagalpa, situada en el kilómetro 132 al norte de la capital Managua, encontrarás el Hotel Campestre Barcelona. Que ofrece servicios de bar y restaurante, atención de eventos sociales, conferencias, capacitaciones, servicio de catering dentro y fuera de la ciudad, transporte desde el aeropuerto hasta el hotel y hacia los atractivos turísticos de la zona. El Hotel Campestre Barcelona cuenta con el sello de Safe to Travel, con el distintivo de Moderniza, donde nuestro lema es un cliente satisfecho es nuestra mejor ganancia. Nuestro personal es constantemente capacitado en diferentes seminarios para garantizar un servicio de calidad a nuestros clientes.
准的一些服务。
También participamos de forma activa en eventos promovidos por el gobierno para contribuir al mejoramiento de nuestros servicios y a la sostenibilidad de nuestra oferta turística. El Hotel Campestre Barcelona cuenta con alianzas estratégicas con diferentes destinos turísticos para que nuestros clientes puedan visitar y recorrer nuestro departamento de manera segura, haciendo senderismo, paisajismo, canopy, visitar la ruta del café, ciclismo de montaña, ferias gastronómicas, la ruta de las cascadas, museos, entre otros.
En este día de magno centenario, es tu belleza sin igual nada me falta. Hoy soy alegría hija del campanario, que majestuosa es tu grandiosa catedral. Tu río hermoso y tu clima es ideal. España, la montaña de
El Hotel Campestre Barcelona, fundado en el año 2000 por sus propietarios, ingeniero Enrique Bustamante y su esposa, profesora Ventura Celedón, es un refugio en medio de la naturaleza. Respirar el aire puro, contemplar la majestuosidad de la naturaleza con imponentes montañas que son parte de un feliz despertar en el pequeño y acogedor hotel.
提供非常舒适的设施以及服务。
Razas son de los sultanes, los que poblaron la verdad del septentrión. Riqueza inmensa son tus grandes capitales. Tu parque será el pueblo inspiración. Por los caminos oye el canto de los pinos y en la llanada le reclama la bajada. Que lindo viene con dicha inaugurada. Viene cantando y endulzando con sus trinos. Magdalena, mujer divina, dame tu amor. Magdalena, indita hermosa, sos muy bonita, sos una rosa. Las flores en gran vanidad, bajo ese cielo de azul profundo, con el cantar algo en la vida. Siempre daríamos a transmitir por el mundo.
Ubicado a 1 kilómetro, lejos del bullicio al norte de la ciudad, Sirve de enlace para que los turistas nacionales y extranjeros puedan visitar haciendas cafetaleras y ganaderas como una forma de promover el ecoturismo. Queremos que la gente que nos visita se sienta como en casa.
那我也希望所有来这边过夜的旅客呢，都可以觉得是在自己家里一样。
La misión del hotel, brindar una excelente atención a nuestros huéspedes a través de un servicio de calidad y esmero que brinde confianza y seguridad. Visión, ser un hotel reconocido por excelencia y calidad, donde nuestros clientes, tanto nacionales como extranjeros, disfruten de una estadía placentera en cualquier época del año. Nuestros valores, calidez, responsabilidad, respeto, higiene y confianza.
Dame tu amor, baja la espina, indita hermosa, sos muy bonita, sos una rosa, la tapa, el gran familia, bajo ese cielo de azul profundo, como el cantarán en la vida, siempre daríos aplaudidos por el mundo.
Te invitamos a alojarte con nosotros. No te lo puedes perder si planeas tu viaje y vivir esta experiencia única en nuestra Matagalpa próspera y pujante.
Thank you for your presentation. Let's invite the two instructors to give us some comment. I just watched the videos. Excuse me, we have some technical issues. So Maria, I have seen your presentation. The video clip is rather very professional, and the B&B, I think we will divide it as a hotel because it looks like a huge scale. So I think it's a pretty mature hotel as well, because you also introduce us a lot of surroundings, for example, breakfast, etc. I think it's a pretty mature industry. I don't know that in your heart, this is what you want to run, or I don't know, because from I understand that the student here that they want to learn to run the B&B. So I don't know if that's your B&B or is that your future dream. So, for example, in the future, if you want to run a B&B, you should have a concept that this is the home I want to, this is the lifestyle I want to, this is the lifestyle I want to share with others. So if you take a local hotel or resort, as the example, of course, your presentation will be wonderful. However, how about you? Like, you need to have your own concept. What kind of B&B that you want to run in the future? What kind of concept that you want to express to others? What kind of style you want to have? What kind of way that you want to live? And what kind of natural resource that you have? What kind of thing you want to share to your guests? So no matter it's living or eating or entertainment, that this is a sharing concept. So you don't need to have a huge scale of the B&B or hotel. As Taiwan, like, we have a regulation that B&B should be small scale, and the owner lives in the B&B themselves as well, so they have to handle a lot of things, which means that the guests will come to the B&B, they will handle their from living, from the eating, from everything, so that the owner have to think about. So you have to come back to your core value. What kind of B&B that you want to have? I know that, Maria, that you have presented a lot for the hotel. So if that's your own hotel or your own B&B, I think this is a really complete work. So you may want to combine, like we mentioned, like we mentioned, that you need to cooperate with the locals. How can you connect with the local? How can you use a local ingredient, local resources? Do not, excuse me, I am happy that a lot of students learn a lot from the classes I taught. This is just one part of it. However, B&B is not just local resources or cultural resources. Is how can you express your own style, and that is your dream home, and what kind of position that you want to have, what kind of lifestyle you want to have, and what type of lifestyle you like. How are you going to express that and share with that to the guests is also very important. That's good life, enjoyable life. That's the thing that you want to share with the guests. I saw the video clip. I think that this is a very mature and very professional hotel, and also a very mature tourist site. So I think the regulation is different. I think that in Taiwan, the Airbnb cannot have swimming pool. So this is very different. As in Taiwan, if you have a swimming pool, then you have to have a safeguard, a lifeguard. So the scale is relatively large for your hotel. However, I'm very happy to see that you have your own resort. You have your own resort, and you combine with the local really good. You have some local experiences, and etc. As we can see from the global, like also including Taiwan, you can find a beautiful spot with nice air, surrounded by natural resources. However, it's disconnected with the local community. They just trap themselves, or the guests just trap them in the B&B. They maybe even transport the food from the cities, and the guests just stay in the huge resort or B&B and just enjoy something that very touristicized. However, I am very happy to see that you actually combine with the local. And you even think of using local resources. And I also believe that you also hire local people, because if you want to support this resort with this scale, then you have to hire a lot of local people. So this is what we so-called sustainability. And this is also the index. And in Taiwan, I would like to share with you, as Ms. Hong just mentioned, our B&B scales are relatively small, and the owner of the B&B, they have their persistence. For example, they may retire from IT industry or from teaching industry. They just want to have a good life. They just want to go to a mountain and then build a house, just enjoy the fresh air and sometimes even hike or climb the mountain, and they share the unoccupied room for guests. So that's what Ms. Hon mentioned. Those owners, it's because that they want to have a good life. They have a certain standard for life quality. So they open a B&B, and their way of having life, it's very relaxing and very healthy, and that will attract a lot of guests that would like to also enjoy this kind of lifestyle. So as we live in city, we cannot enjoy the mountain every day or eat organic food every day. So that's why Airbnbs are for. So you started from a small scale, you share your lifestyle, you share your own life with other. In Taiwan, we have some owners, they might have their own orchard. So when you live in their B&B, you can pick up the fruits with the owners, or maybe the owners might like to have pottery. Maybe when he was making the pottery, then you can also make your own potteries. Or sometimes maybe the owners, they live close to traditional market or fish market, then you can go with the owner to the traditional market or fishery market, and you can see a lot of different things. So in Taiwan, some B&B, they even have their own fishing boat. They will just go to the sea and then catch fish. Then you can also catch a fish with them. So this is a very valuable experiences that you do not have to have it as a separate tour site or a separate tour program. So once you are in Taiwan, then what kind of feature that the B&B have, then you can also enjoy the feature of that B&B. So that's what is so attractive that to live in B&B in Taiwan. So you can think about from that perspective. Do not think about the perspective from the tourism perspective, so that your B&B will become more attractive and will have more human element. I would like to thank the two instructors. So let's move on to the next presentation, Paraguay, the number 13, Janela. I have uploaded the presentation for Spanish version and also English version. I don't know if you can see my presentation. Good morning, everyone. I would like to share my ideal B&B. I actually really like the house of my friends located in Lamballe in Paraguay and also next to the river of the Paraguay. They have a guest room. And however, it could be expanded. So I hope that we can attract adults rather than children as our guests. So our price range will be middle to high. We can provide different kinds of experiences for our guests. For example, we have a lot of artifacts in our house, and we also have a lot of wonderful food. As you can see, from Taiwan to another side of the globe, which is Paraguay, this is where we're located. This is Paraguay. And this is where the house is located. So this is the house. So this is my ideal B&B. We can provide very rich experiences. We have a lot of collections. For example, we have 60 teapot. We also have other collections. So looking through the window, you can see a golf court. We have a lot of things that we can show to our guests. For our breakfast, we provide handmade bread or different cakes and handmade jam, cheese, or cheesecake, or special bread. We also have DIY cuisine session and teach our guests how to do the local food, how to make local food. So in the photos, you can see how we make those bread and cheese bread, etc. So this is semi-outdoor place. We have a lot of fruit trees. We can take our guests to pick up the fruit, maybe make the juice of it, or sweets, or even jam. And those jams, we can also sell them. So those are other fruits we have in the farm. And we also can provide some outdoor activities. We can have some water activity. We also can have bird watching or even some golf court that we can have some activity there. We can also walk along or ride along the river. And we can also have some long walk during the night. Furthermore, we can also go to Lambaré, which is a hillside. And in the afternoon, we can also go to have bird watching. As you can see that this is our swimming pool. And this is our barbecue grill. And this is our pedestrian. So you can also have camping here. Here we can enjoy red wine, beer, and even enjoy our natural resources, watch sunset, sunrise, or even watch people play golf. In Paraguay, we have something that's really famous, which is barbecue. So we have a place for barbecue. So this is a kiln. So you can bake something here. And you can also prepare some wonderful food here or handmade pizza. However, we will only have this event during the weekend because we only grill during the weekend. So this is pizza or other food. And this is our entrance. You can see a lot of different collections. You can see we have Santa Maria here in the center. It's made by an artist from Paraguay. You can also see a lot of different kind of elephants made from different material for some ceremonies, for example, Christmas or New Year or Thanksgiving, etc. And then we will have different kinds of decoration. And we will also cooperate with other celebrations, for example, Halloween. So this is our decorations for Halloween. And we will also have trick and treats. We will also have special event. We can host up to 120 people in our yard. So if we only have very small of people, then the owner will host the event by herself. If we have more than a lot of people, then we will hire some companies to do events for us. So we can also provide the events and also the venue for people. So these are other events. Our B&B, we also have our own pet. We also have some seasonal activities. So a lot of activities that's actually a little bit far away from our B&B, but you can see some small farmers that they cooperate with us, or some artists, they also cooperate with us. So if you have a longer time here, then we can hike to other places. For example, for the Eastern, we will take our guests to the church nearby or some religious places. For recent years, we will host, for example, artifact collection exhibition or art exhibition. One is in June, one's in approximately December. So I also mark the places for people to buy souvenirs. So these are some different museums. So during the weekend, you can have some city tour to see different places in Asunción, and also that will replace the tour for the department store. So in this community, it's pretty safe. And we also install so many surveillance tapes, and every week that our neighbors will clean the surroundings by themselves or even have some maintenance job done. So if they need our help, or if we need any kind of help, we will raise funds and to buy some tools or etc. We also celebrate Labor's Day or Children's Day or other cultural events. So you can see this is the logo for my B&B. I designed it this way because I want to host my friends and guests and have some events. I've learned a lot from these classes, and I learned also from a lot of students, and I hope that in the future I can have my own B&B. Thank you very much. Let's invite Miss Miss Huan first. Daniela, I think that you really put a lot of effort to do your presentation, and you have a lot of feature here. you have so many resources. Even I want to go there. Even I want to enjoy your B&B. So if I can have a B&B there, then I can share with you some of my experiences. You mentioned that you want to attract adults, and you said that you can host 120 people. So we say that this is a huge scale business, so you might need a lot of staffs. So you need to have some human resources to help you. So if you're a B&B, that really depends on local regulation. If you can have so many people in your B&B, you have so many activities, for example, water activities, golf court, breakfast, bird watching, picnic, and hills, and a lot of barbecue, handmade pizza, blah, blah, blah. That's a lot of things. If I were you, for the breakfast, I would definitely provide handmade breakfast. And I will move the breakfast to the outdoor and even have a picnic, because I know a lot of people like natural. So you might want to have your breakfast in the outdoor. In Hualien in Taiwan, they put their breakfast in the basket and then invite all the guests to outside on the lawn to have breakfast. So you have your handmade breakfast. If you have enough human resources, then you can bring the guests outside. Of course, you have to have shade or etc. Or even you can decorate a pretty white table so people can have picnic there. That's a really good feature. And even so, I know that you also have the barbecue. Maybe you can limit that to Saturday. So Saturday night that you can have a barbecue. So if people come the Saturday, they will have a barbecue here. So if I have so many resources, I enjoy that you can have different features for a different day. For example, 1-day tours, 2-day tour, and 3-day tour. Then you have a different kind of topic. For example, like for the breakfast, you can use a picnic style. And Saturday night, you can have a barbecue night. If you want to run the lantern, so maybe you can have a barbecue night, and then you can combine other resources. You can have sometime, let's see, that healthy day, for example, a healthy class. For example, you can have people that want to join hiking, or you can also, excuse me, you can have a natural tour. For example, hiking and bird watching or ride a bicycle. That's a natural tour. Or even you can have cultural tour, or food tour, or sports tour. You can distinguish into different kinds of tours. If you come to here for 1 day, I have picnic outside, and starting from what time to what time, and then you have different kind of activities. It's a different tour. So that is, however, it has to be a local tour. So you can have the different kinds of topic. And if it's 2-day tour, you can add bird watching, golf court, or some cultural tour. So like different days, you can have different tours. You can have different topics. So you can really have a really huge feature and specialties for your B&B. So you can have your position. Some people really want to enjoy your B&B, and you can really attract them. Maybe they want to have a picnic every day, or they want barbecue, and young people would like to come. So some people want to play golf. So you have a lot of resources. You can have a different package. You can organize different kinds of activities to attract different people to your B&B. So you have to think about that. You have so many resources. So how many people you want to host? So if you can attract 120 people, then at the same time, you need to think about the human resources, because like you have to cook for 120 people. Like how many people are going to cook for you? You have to think about that. So if you are a small scale, then maybe you can have a 3-day 2 nights tour, and maybe you can cooperate with other topic. Then you can categorize your tours and to become a B&B with a feature. Then you can attract a lot of people. So if I were you, I think I will have a lot of resources to work on. So these are my comments. Daniel, I remember last time you did a wonderful job for your photos. In your presentation, I think you did a wonderful job as well. You have your market position that you really have a successful first step, and you position yourself as an adult market. They might have some cultivate background. They maybe have some social status, and you are next to a golf court, and the texture and also quality of your B&B, I think you position yourself correctly. I like to suggest that if I would like to suggest that you're next to a golf court, maybe you should add some golf collection or decoration, so the guests who really enjoy play golf, maybe they will come every season or every golf season. So you might attract a lot of people who love to play golf, and maybe they will have their events here. So in Taiwan, we have many places that people like to ride motorcycle. They like to ride their motorcycle too, because they go to that B&B, they feel like they're at home. They have some decorations in their B&B that's related to motorcycle. For example, people riding bikes, they have certain preferences for certain B&B. So maybe you can add those kind of feature. Maybe you can add your professionalism to your B&B. For example, you can say that so many people that play in this golf court and what kind of record they've made, what kind of history they've made, then you can list them in your public area. And those things will become your feature and will attract a lot of guests. And also resonate with your B&B. You also mentioned that you can do bird watching there. I suggest that maybe you can prepare some binocular. You can also prepare some book collections about birds. So that will really leave impression to other people. So it really depends on what kind of resources that you want to emphasize. So I know you have those wonderful resources that you really need to take in account to. I know you have a lot of community activities. I think that's wonderful. However, we have to think about that as a social responsibility and also a sustainability concept. I do not want to earn money only. I need to reward and also give back to our community. We need to support our community. So for your market position that you attract high-end clients, maybe you can start from the charity part of you. For example, in Children's Day, maybe you can have some activities, for example, some children charities, and ask your guests to join you. Even some B&B in Taiwan, they even ask their guests and invite their guests to clean the beach, to pick up the garbage. You might feel really weird that I'm a guest, I'm a tourist here. Why would I pick up the trash? So this is what's different because it's charity. Once you have this kind of feature, and some guests will share the same value with you because they think that they are support the community. They are not just come here for the tourists. They here to support your community too. So besides relax and entertain themselves in the B&B, they also reward themselves and also feel proud of themselves by giving back to the communities. So maybe you can think about that way. That this is my suggestions. Thank you very much for your comments. I believe that they will learn a lot from you, and this is also very helpful. They can definitely follow your suggestions and to improve themselves. Let's move on to the number 15, Nilda Johanna, also from Paraguay. So let me start my presentation. First, I would like to thank TaiwanICDF provide us such wonderful chance to join this hospitality class and also provide so many tools and resources to us. This is a great help. I think the classes we took has a great help for our improvement. For example, I am the instructor for tourism and also hospitality. So this is definitely a great help for my class. I would like to share with you a program from my students. So this is a B&B in countryside. So I want to introduce a countryside B&B because I don't own my own B&B. But I would like to hope like I can have my own B&B in the future. The B&B or the hotel is in Parawari. This is a countryside B&B. We hope that we can be the best among other B&B and provide very creative services. I also hope that in the future, the B&B can be one of the tourist sites too. So the main concept is that we can combine with the local and natural resources, because we hope that we can also meet the client's demand and also combine with the local resources. So of course we will have basic services. The hotel can host people that want to have ecology tourism or some friends that they really like to get in touch with nature or farm. And I also want to host more local people. Of course, they will take our social responsibility. For example, we use solar panel board for our electricity. So it's rather clean energy that can also help us to preserve the ecology. We did some analysis in the market and see what kind of points that our guests are really value. For example, we have a question that's like, if you want to choose a hotel, what you value most, and a lot of people choose the services of the staff. As the owner of the future B&B and a hotel, we have to focus on these key points. We believe that we have to take different kind of perspective. Most of the people, they come as a couple or come as a group. And we also ask them if they like a pet-friendly B&B, and 86% of the people like this kind of B&B. So we can also include our pets for family vacation. Another is that we ask them where they get our information. We found out that most of people get our information from Instagram. and 52% of people know us from Instagram. And this is our organization chart. So we have people responsible for administration, hospitality, and human resources, etc. So different people will have different jobs and also serve in different departments. For example, host the guest, or clean the room, or gardening, safety, etc. We have our SWOT analysis. Let's see our strength, also opportunities and weakness, and also risk. Our strength is that our services is really good, and you pay this certain amount of money, but you get really good services. And we are very knowledgeable about our surroundings and the natural resources we have. So our weakness is that we have to adopt new technology. As this is a countryside, so it's hard to raise the price. We also lack of human resources. Our opportunities as a countryside B&B, so we have a lot of potentials and we don't have a lot of competitors. Our threat is other small scale competitors like small scale hotels. So according to our surroundings, we have different kind of topic. We also will get affected by other factors, for example, politics and natural resources and culture, etc. So we expect that our economics will grow from 5.4 to 5.5. However, our taxation might have some fluctuation. A target according to our competitor and our supply chain and our guests. So those are also taken into our considerations. So these are the position of our guests. We hope that they're adults or young people, single or married or divorced. They can also have children, or without children is also fine. And we hope that their incomes should be middle to high. And we also hope that they come here because they want to relax. So our 4P is our product, price, place, and also promotion. So basically, we have our own basic equipment, and we also have really good. We also have very good services. And our promotion will be mainly focused online. We also have different kinds of room to provide to people. And our way to run the hotel, for example, we will definitely open the door for them first and then guide them to the reception. And people will do checking for them and then bring them to their own room. We have single room, double room, or a room for 4 people. So this is the layout for the hotel. For example, we're our reception area, laundry area, restaurant, we have different room style. So this is a project that I am doing with my student. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nilda. Let's invite Miss Huang first. So the lady from Paraguay, she did a very thorough analysis, 4Ps and SWOT analysis. She said that she wants to run a hotel and B&B focus on ecology and countryside. I want to understand. She didn't talk about the natural reasons around it in that places. Can you tell me more? You so-called countryside hotel in Airbnb, what's the natural resources you have? What about the ecology you're talking about? What kind of ecology? So in this area, we located in Balawari. It's one of the 17th counties in Paraguay. We are surrounded by mountains and natural resources. We also have a lot of animals. So the B&B is located in Balawari. So we can be exposed in natural resources and also embraced by animals. So this is what I so-called countryside. So the ecology means animal. I don't want people to be too close to the technology. So this is a very countryside style. So, okay, I understand. You mentioned the market and also analysis in that market and also 4P and SWOTs, etc. And then you want to have B&B for ecology and also countryside style. And you're also surrounded by mountains and animals. So you can have a countryside B&B. You also cooperate with mountains. You can also combine with the mountainside scenery. However, we suffer from COVID right now. You're also affected by the COVID, I believe. So I think that in the future, mind, spirit, and soul kind of tourist trained and also be at peace and respectful with the natural will be the trend in the future. And you also have to preserve the animals and natural resources will be the key point for B&B runners in the future. We also have to protect our sea and also earth, our land, and be friendly about them, and also respect the natural resources and all species. So I think this is a future trend, and you can also run a sustainable ecological B&B in the future. So you can have mountain activities, and you can even take your guests to the mountain, and you can also do yoga there. You can have meditation there. So this could be a really good focus in the future. So mind, spirit, and soul, this kind of topic is also very trendy. So that's my focus. So that's my suggestion. I heard that you did a lot of analysis, and you also introduced a lot about the B&B, and you have a really thorough investigation. So I highly encourage that everyone should have this kind of an analysis first, and then open your own B&B later. So that you can save a lot of money and resources. So according to your analysis, and then I know that Ms. Huan is a BNB owner, so she has a lot of experiences. So she also gave you very good suggestions. I learned from your BNB and your presentation that you want to attract adults and young people. So they are your target client. They are target clients, and their income should be middle to high. And also, according to your statistic, you also mentioned that the people in Paraguay, they focus more on the services. And you also did your niche market and also SWOT analysis. That you also said that it's hard to get human resources. So your BNB, if you position yourself as a middle to high level, that so the guests will tend to more focus on the services. And you also position yourself to attract people from middle to high income. So they will focus more on services. So you might want to need to have more human resources to maintain those qualities. You will rely on the human resources, and you're located in the countryside and hard to get human resources. How are you going to solve that problem? So when you get those analysis, you have to solve the problem. Because right now I know you're facing this shortage of a human resource problem. So as the experiences in Taiwan, that in BNB in Taiwan, we have a lot of BNBs are located in rural area. They don't have human resources. So we also face a lot of problem for human resources. I know Ms. Hong has a lot of experiences too. So some BNB, the way to solve the problem is that they use part-time worker, that you work here, then you can stay here. What I mean is that some young people, they really like to have a vacation. They want to go to rural area. They want to enjoy their vacation. They want to relax. So they can spend their vacation in winter vacation time in the BNB. They work there and they can live there. So what the busiest of BNB is, first time is a checkout time. After the checkout, then you have to take care of the room. And then the second is the afternoon time. And breakfast is also the time that you really need human resources. So the most of the BNB that they really need to have a lot of human resources. So after 2 o'clock, you can let those students who work for you to get the tour, to ride bicycle, to have a hike. So, and then the owner of the BNB can take care of their jobs. So this is one way you can solve your human resources problem. Also, I mentioned that how can I combine with the local is also very important. How you combine with the social responsibility and also sustainability. We hope that the BNB wouldn't be excluded from the local community. So those people who work for you, maybe they're from outside, and you can also seek for the people help. Like for example, the local moms that the children has already grown up. However, they really can cook. They know how to take care of people. Maybe you can recruit them. Maybe you can find this kind of human resources in the community. So this could be some practical ways for you to solve the human resource problem. So this is a blueprint, and also the blueprint for your future. So I think like all the students here, that maybe they share their blueprint or maybe their project for us. Maybe they haven't started their BNB yet. I know that this is your blueprint. You also mentioned that pet friendly, as high as 86% of the people, they would like to stay in the pet friendly hotel. So if you have a lot of animal in your hotel, maybe this could be your niche market. So if you have a lot of people that they have pets, they want to take their pet to like vacation, maybe this is your position too. Maybe this is your niche market. And also you mentioned that your promotion, like 52% are in Instagram. In Taiwan, Instagram is only for young people. For the people my age, we use Facebook. So if your position that also from your statistic, you find that yourself that the target client is a middle to high level, you have to consider that the Instagram are for young people and their source of income is not so stable. And also you have the organization chart. This is for us, this is a level of a hotel. So in Taiwan, B&B, the human resource, we don't need so many people because we have very diverse B&B in Taiwan. For example, in high season, in my own B&B, I have like 4 rooms. And in the high season time, I need 5 people to help me. So I know some B&B have 8 rooms and they provide 1 meal and one night stay, and they will need up to 13 people. So the normal Airbnb, you only need 2 to 3 people because the high time, the peak time is only breakfast time. And you also need people to take care of the room, to clean the room, tidy up the room, and then you can host the new batch of the guests. Sometimes you might have some transportation services. However, if you don't have enough people, then you can also hire some drivers. So your organizational chart, like I can see that's a very in detail, like it's a very high scale. It's a high scale hotel. So we are more prefer that if you want to have a B&B and you want to have your lifestyle, that you want to share your life with other people or other guests, I think you should go back to your core concept, because the organizational chart, because you also draw the layout of the room so that the cost will be super high. So let's go back to the roots. Maybe you only have to have 8 to 10 rooms and you can share your life with and also your local future to other people. So I think that's better because you make so many detail, and once you really want to implement, then you will find your own problem. Thank you. Excuse me, let me ask if we want to take a break, because we still have 3 students.
Hello, I think we should continue. It is very late.
I know. I will pass your message to the organizer. 我这边有学员说现在已经非常晚了，他们想要继续。对。Gola, can I invite you to present your presentation? Gilda from Belize. I know you're online. I can see you online. Would you like to share your presentation? Okay.
Hi. Yes.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. My video that I created was very short. However, I want to make a point, meaning that I don't own a B&B of my own at the moment. So what I did was I tried sharing some of what my country has to offer. and what in the future, what I could incorporate as part of making packages or plans when I create my own B&B. The music, I just want to briefly explain some of the things and the reason why they are put there in the video. For example, the background music that you will be listening to is a cultural music that is actually played by drums. Also, most of the things that you are going, most of the pictures that you're going to see, most of the pictures that you're going to see are representation.
看到呢，其实也是，不好意思，我有听到回音，我听到我自己回音非常大。
The representation of my country, meaning what they have to offer when it comes to the activities, both marine and land.
Excuse me, we have some technical issues. Could you give me a minute? I'm sorry.
Sure, yes.
请问回音的部分，因为这样我没办法口译。好。I'm sorry, Gilda. Give me a minute.
Sure.
Okay, let's continue and see how it goes.
Okay. As I was mentioning, it will show some of the activities that can be done both in land and in marine. Different activities that can actually be included as packages in my future B&B. Also, when it comes to the food, it will show how the food and all the vegetables are, and most of them are locally grown. So all of the vegetables will be aimed to create healthy meals. And not only to create healthy meals, but also to incorporate the whole traditional way on how to make those traditional dishes by incorporating our elderly people. We also, because we have certain organizations and certain institutions who offer those services of sharing how our foods are created in the traditional way. It will also show things, different things that can be done. So I don't want to spend too much time talking. I want you guys to enjoy the video. So if you could kindly play the video.
Golda, could you play your video? Golda, you are muted, so I cannot hear you. Okay.
Yes.
Can you
Yes,
play
sorry.
can you play your video or? Oh, we cannot see your screen though. Can you share us your screen? Or we can play for you.
I would prefer if you would play it for me.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, please.
So Golda, we will play your video clips. Give us a minute.
欢迎各位来到贝莱斯。那这是一个大家都可以一起享受旅游的地方。那我们 们有海上活动，那我们有海上的洞窟，然后你各位可以骑马。那我们有很棒的天然资源，比如说划木舟，然后我们也有吊绳索。我们也有蝴蝶农场。然后当地的手做的一些食物。那我们也可以到海边去，我们开着我们的高尔夫球车。那当然也有非常浪漫的地点，我们也可以体验我们的夕阳。那在贝里斯，海天是连成一线。
So I've watched your video. I know Belize is so beautiful. You have so many natural resources. I've seen so many very similar scenes. For example, canoe and fish and water is very close to Taiwan. And you also have a beautiful cage in the water. I think that you have abundant natural resources to host a B&B. And you also mentioned that you want to cooperate the activities in land and both in sea. You also say that you want to do some traditional food and even cooperate with elderly people that you would like to cooperate with them and ask them to teach us how to make traditional food. So I think that if you're interested in that, so the outside resources is very abundant, that you have enough, and then you can really tailor-made your program. For example, people like sea, people like mountain, then you can have different topic for them. Then you can customize your tour. So as a B&B yourself, if you want to focus on traditional food and you teach your guests traditional food, I think you can set yourself as a gourmet B&B, or I don't know your location, or maybe you can even consider to have a farm kitchen. So this is also another topic. So you can really cooperate with the local ingredients and also local resources. So I think that your position is rather very clear, and you don't have so many complicated things. But you have to be interested about cooking, of course. So if you don't like to cook, then you really need to introduce some outside resources. So that's my own suggestion. Okay. So let me briefly give you some comments. I see Belize. I remember the last time I see your pictures, I remember I told you that I really want to go to Belize. And right now I saw your video, Calista. I really want to go to Belize even more. However, about your concept for your B&B, it's rather really brief. However, you also tell us your concept. I think it's really good that you want to cooperate with some local and traditional thing, that you want to show people that you have that resources. One simple comment, like we are now considering how can we advocate to the guests, like I emphasized before, like our social responsibility or combine with the local community. In fact, your B&B, you mentioned that you want to cooperate with elderly people that to cook and to share their tradition. So it's really meaningful that you can put this on your website or your promotional material. You don't want to mention that those traditional thing is really valuable or etc. No, actually, you should portray that you are actually helping the elderly people, that their knowledge is also valuable to young people, that they are not waiting to die or they just retire and waiting to die. Actually, you should also tell people that